So, automotive content on YouTube has evolved into this very kind of big but still niche kind of crowd of people that have become the dominating kings of content. But, you know, rewind the clocks back to 2011, 2012, there wasn't as much diversity. There wasn't Daily Driven Exotics. There wasn't really Stradman. There was actually 1320 Video, which was one of the original kings and still one of the main kings, OGs of car content, which I think it'll be fun to kind of cover that a little bit. Because I grew up with 1320 Video back in the early days and all of their original street racing content videos. So I'll see about whether I can cover that stuff. I don't want to infringe on their copyright. I know I can probably find a way to do it in a fair use way and just stick to their old content, because that's kind of what I want to cover. But that could be interesting. But then there's also documentaries and things like that that are really, really funky. So rewind the clocks, okay? Rewind the clocks. I know I'm exposing myself. I've got YouTube Premium. Rewind the clocks back to, let's say, 2012. Okay? Let's be reasonable. A little over 10 years from today, basically. Let's say you're in middle school like me. You're 13, 14 years old. And, you know, you're into cars, but you don't know where to start with getting exposed to the culture. Because where you are right now, there's just no opportunity for you to do so. Because when I was in the UK, I didn't know anyone that was really in the scene, the car scene in the UK. My parents didn't care. We had a Honda CR-V diesel. My dad didn't even have a car. It just wasn't necessary for us, even though it's not like we couldn't have a car. There was just no reason to. That's not how I approach it. I will always have a car I love no matter what. I'm never getting rid of my E46 M3. But back then, you know, I didn't know where to start. There wasn't any car shows I could go to. I didn't know where to find anything. That was the early days of the internet as well. I didn't know how to navigate that shit. YouTube was primitive as well. But I could search for documentaries. And I have a playlist somewhere. Here we go. Old Street Racer YouTube documentaries. We got some OG shit right here. It was a little awkward to put all of this together because some of them are cut up into parts, you know, back when, you know, remember when videos were cut up into parts on YouTube? And we got what looks like Hulk Hogan here. Oh man, we've got a 1320 Video here. It's got a great freaking title. Let's go with one of the originals, all right? It's only got 59,000 views. Fucking nothing. No views at all for a video from 9 years ago.
Everything from the gritty illegal street races.
2003. I was watching documentaries from 2003 on my phone. I just smuggled my phone into my room and watched YouTube videos.
The need for speed has turned into a cultural phenomenon.
So you also got to realize 2003 Underground 2. This was what the scene was back then. Kids taking these stock cars and street racing in them.
Encompassing everything from the gritty illegal street races to the glitzy $130 million industry of flashy cars.
Oh, there's an E46 M3, cool. There's some nice cars too.
To the glitzy
R33, R34,
industry of
lots of imports, all about the imports, all about the girls. Awkward spot to pause. Didn't mean to do that. So this documentary is all about, think, a mom with a Honda Civic and a teenager and an Eagle Talon, and them trying to figure out who's faster. She's all about being professional and racing on the track. He's all about street racing, I think.
Two competitive racers from different parts of the scene hook up with the best tuners in the industry. This is the fast and fearless story of their meager machines transformed into high-speed street rockets.
I feel like I'm listening to a tutorial video in Underground 2.
Go and fly.
Once I get behind that wheel, it's like, "Argh."
In the end, they'll square.
These are very eloquent people. When I get behind the wheel of my car, it's
In the end, they'll square off at the drag strip to answer the only question that matters to a racer. Whose car is faster?
Honestly, as a kid, I thought her car was fucking sick. Like, I love that generation of Honda Civic. I wanted one of those as my first car. Like an EM1 SI. Clean, beat up. I didn't care. I was going to modify it either way. But man, I loved those cars, man. I am totally just watching an Underground 2 tutorial at this point. Pedal to the metal. I've heard someone say that in 1,000 years.
Whether they race them illegally on the streets or at sanctioned drag strip events, speed enthusiasts have one goal: to be
That was a really slow fucking shift. That was not an action shot right there.
Right now, we're gonna head over to the Ontario racing area, kind of where a lot of cars hang out.
22-year-old Obi Logue has been street racing since age 16. He owns a turbocharged, all-wheel drive 1990 Eagle Talon.
Nice. So that would have the 4G, right? 4G63? That's basically an Eclipse GSX underneath, right? Is that basically the same car?
A lot of my big races have been with high horsepower cars, but on the street. Kind of live on the edge a little bit, so you don't always play by the rules.
What do you mean? A lot of my races have been against high horsepower cars, but on the streets I don't play by the rules? What does that mean? That's a non-statement.
A lot of my big races have been with high horsepower cars, but on the street. Kind of live on the edge a little bit, so you don't always play by the rules.
Nope, no idea what he fucking means. That's an incomplete statement right there.
Obi's competitor, 24-year-old Layla.
The mom mobile. Hey, my E46 M3 has a car seat in the back too. This is back when you could have been like, what, 6 or 7 years old and you didn't need to have a car seat. Nowadays, I don't even know how old you have to be to not have a car seat anymore. Those rules changed. That shocked me when I first came back to the U.S. That I was like, because nieces and nephews and my wife's family were like, yeah, you need car seats or booster seats for up until the age of like 9 or something. And I'm like, what do you mean? Since when?
Layla Flores is a wife, mother, and street racing fanatic.
Oh, she's a street racer as well? I don't remember that. Then again, it's been like 10 years since I've seen this.
And street racing fanatic, who runs her car at the legal tracks instead of the streets.
Who wrote the script for this poor narrator? Because it makes him sound like a fucking idiot. A street racer is known for racing on the street, not racing exclusively on NHRA tracks. Whatever.
Front-wheel drive 1997 Honda Civic Coupe.
I don't like the whole street racing scene. I'd much rather drive to the track.
So, she's a street racer, but she's not a street racer. I'm a little confused about what type of people we're dealing with here that produced this documentary. I don't remember this at all. Obviously, I wasn't going to catch that as a kid, but what the dickens? It's like when the news reports on takeovers and people killing each other and them saying, these people are street racers. And we're like, motherfucker, these people are not street racers. These are morons with overly financed cars and pickup trucks and 2 brain cells. Ugh. Sweet bejesus, come on.
Get a printout, you know your times, you get more respect.
In countless parking lots, hundreds of cars and drivers gather each night to mix it up in the underground world of illegal street racing.
So, the thing is that you gotta realize that meets back in the day, not even comparable to meets of today. Like the meets back then, they were much more chill, more about the racing, and people didn't really film shit. They didn't want to get caught. Now people are recording everything, banging the rev limiters and all that crap, and attracting all kinds of unwanted attention. It was basically, from what I understand, the rule was, you want to race or do something stupid, go off and do that, and if it's not too stupid, you can come back. Don't bring heat back to us, okay? We would like to just keep doing this and enjoy the hobby. We don't care if you're actually street racing. Just don't get us in trouble so that we can keep having fun.
We do it because we love it. It becomes a lifestyle. You just grow into it. It's almost like a drug. I mean, it's like half legal, half illegal form of a drug.
Like any addiction,
I don't think it's half legal, half illegal. It's just illegal.
street racing carries its share of risks and potentially dangerous consequences.
I've gotten into
The police will shoot you. I don't know why they're saying dangerous when they look at the cop car.
Stop! You violated the law.
And potentially dangerous consequences.
I've gotten into a lot of trouble at the street races. I've been hit for probably every ticket in the book. They arrested me.
How do you have a license if they've hit you with every ticket in the book? You're exaggerating.
They arrested me. They tried to get me for a DUI, tried to get me for evading a peace officer. Anything that a cop can hit you for.
A DUI? What the hell were you doing to make them think you got a DUI?
They tried to get me for evading a peace officer. Anything that a cop can hit you for, I've probably been hit for.
With
Granted, there are some cops out there that will try to hit you with a DUI even when you're perfectly sober. So All right, I won't hold that to you too much.
Accidents can injure or kill both racers and bystanders.
My mom's thoughts on me racing have been don't get caught, since my racing career has basically been on the street and doing things illegally.
I think mainly
Mom, what were you up to in high school to be okay with any of this? Wait, but Jesus, he lives with his mom, and she ain't doing nothing to stop this.
I think mainly I'm concerned about his safety, so I've never watched him race. I would love to watch my son race.
What? What is that f***ing logic? I'm just so concerned about his safety, so I'm just gonna cover my eyes and see no evil, hear no evil, or whatever the f***ing quote is, and just like a toxic waste dump in the forest that's been buried under 2 inches of earth. Can't see it, it's not there. What are you gonna do when you get a phone call from the police saying your son's dead, he was split in half after he hit a tree? La 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 la, it didn't happen. And then when you're at the funeral, you're going la 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 la. I don't understand the logic there.
I would love to watch my son race legally. That's my dream for him.
All it takes right now is one cop to come rolling through here, hit his lights, and just start talking over the microphone. Get out of here, we're gonna start calling this, and pretty much everyone just jumps into the cars and we all just scatter. We're gone. If a cop moves us from this spot, which is the
well, yeah, obviously. That's not what? Like, if they say you need to leave, you're loitering, or whatever, because it might not be a public space. You know, a private property owner might be like, these fuckers are annoying me, get them off my property, I don't want them here. Or whatever Americans do these days or back then. You kind of go, well yeah, of course they're gonna leave. What, they're gonna stay and fight? Avengers style? Stand their ground? That's pointless.
The rules of street racing there pretty much aren't any rules of street racing. We look for cars that we can beat, but at the same time we look for cars that are going to be competitive enough to gamble. You know?
So there are rules and there are guidelines. So you don't, you're really, there's a lot of hypocrisy in this documentary that I did not notice as a child. There are no rules, but there are some rules we do follow. They're just unspoken rules.
Sometimes we're not out there to win money. Sometimes we just go out there just to run for fun.
What about 240? What about 240?
Okay. So basically right now we just hooked up a nice little...
Were they saying 240 as the money, or because there was a 240 there that wanted to race? Like, was he asking, do you have a 240? I don't know.
With the cover of darkness in deserted industrial areas and next to freeways, street racers run their cars anywhere they can mask their roaring engines and avoid the police.
This is my girl here.
Oh my god. This is my girl. I almost think it's like aggressively stereotypical that in this scene his girlfriend is Asian. I think that's just wild. But more to the point, how loud are these cars? Seriously, if your car has less than 300 horsepower but it's as loud as an F1 car, you're doing something wrong. That just seems a little unnecessary. Like, my M3 is loud, but it's light and it's quick, okay? But it's not so loud that I'm worried about the cops hearing me, and so I need to race beside a highway. That seems a bit out there. Let's hear about this man's Asian girlfriend for a second.
He's basically gonna flag the race.
The more I got to know him and the more of a passion he showed for this, the more interested I became in it. And the adrenaline rush is the same for me.
The aspect ratio is really squishing her, but maybe she's just really short, I don't know.
For this, the more interested I became in it. And the adrenaline rush is the same for me as it is for him.
Is that a Dodge Neon, like, SRT4 or whatever it's called, against an S13 with a pig nose front bumper?
The more interested I became in it. And the adrenaline rush is the same
I'll
for me
admit,
as it is for
S13s are cool. I won't roast it. Is it boosted? Is the SRT4 turbo?
That just mean that that car won. So we know what happened. That's free, easy money right there. Go down there, get paid, get your money, head out. Pretty much the...
That's it? That the only race you're gonna run? That seems like a lot of energy and effort to only run one race that might last, well, with these cars, probably 15 fucking seconds or something. 18 seconds, who knows? I'm probably being generous. I wonder what their quarter mile times are at the actual track.
Import racing culture, a chance to go out there and prove what we can do to our cars, and hey, mine's bigger than yours is. So it's fun, it's what we live for.
I guess, but also it's just kind of about checking out what people are doing, and you know, it's not always competitive. I don't have to say this, but I feel like I need to for whatever reason, because I'm not, especially with like the rise of EVs now, you know, where power is just so accessible, and if you want instant torque and you just want to have the fastest acceleration in the world, yeah, you're going to need to get an EV in today's climate. But if you just want a fun car with character that's fun and sounds good and feels good, EV isn't the way to go. Not if you're an automotive enthusiast. I'm going to have to gatekeep you on that shit. All right? You could not pay me $300,000 on the terms that I can never buy an E46 M3 again. You could not pay me $300,000 for my M3 because the character of that car and the experience it gives me is more important than anything else. So that's I need to just make a video where I rant about EVs someday, because man, I got some harsh words for EVs. I really do. Mostly thanks to the government.
Sergio actually bought the car before we were married.
Was that a fucking engine block behind her?
He actually started the racing. Actually, I was a little more of the behind the scenes type of helping him out working on the car. I always thought, hey, I can maybe do better, or you know, I can go out there and race.
Yeah, it was basically my dream to race.
Did this man get cucked out of a childhood dream? This poor bastard.
And when I began to put a lot of interest in it, I was still feeling kind of, you know, jealous.
Sergio didn't want to talk.
A man's threatened by his own wife. That's just kind of sad.
In it, I was still feeling kind of, you know, jealous.
Can't you guys coexist and have fun competing with each other? That'd be the coolest thing in the world for me. That if Heather and I were kind of having our own project cars and building them and stuff, but she's not as into it as I am. So that's not really a thing that's going to happen.
Sergio didn't want to talk to me about it. He's like, nope, that's it. You're not going to race the car. It's my car. It's in my name. And I tried to explain to him, I love what I do. When I'm out there on the track or working on the car, I'm in total peace.
Well, then get your own car. It's in his name, literally.
He always told me, I'm going to be jealous of you. I'm going to hate you for this.
Well, that's a bit strong.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to hate you for this is not really something you should say to your wife.
It's caused great turmoil in our relationship.
How about just buy your own car and then have a fun husband and wife rivalry? Just don't let it get so fucking personal. Jesus Christ.
It's possible that racing could destroy everything that we have.
Oh my God.
I just hope that she realizes that that can happen.
To balance between being a racer and a mother is very difficult. I mean, it just can't be one day a month. It has to be a huge part in your life. I'll say, you know, a huge part of my attention, energy, and my free time has totally gone into this car.
She has.
Which car? The orange one? Is the orange one his? Or is the EM1, well, the 1997 one, hurt? I'm confused. Wasn't that body style of Civic a 1999 to 2000 body style? Or did the DX and EX coupes have more model years?
Someone in there is gonna suffer.
You stay with Daddy. You eat, okay? You eat. Papa, I love you. I have to go, sweetheart.
Oh, really painting a good picture of the missus here. Jesus.
You know, if it came down to it, of course I would choose my son over anything, but
it's all for the car, it's for what I love, my passion, my hobby, everything. It's my life.
Kind of contradicting yourself.
Before going pedal to pedal, both Layla and Obi will visit A-list tuners who will work with them to increase the speed of their everyday rides.
Now, I want you guys to tell me in the comments if you've actually heard of these motherfuckers. Because these days, you hear about Real Street Performance, and Gintani, and Underground Racing, AMS, all of the English Racing, or whatever. I'm forgetting of another one. ETS. There's also Extreme Turbo Systems, whom I looked at a lot.
For the first time, Obi meets up with his team of tuners, Dr. Charles, Chris Hansen, and Sharon Dominguez.
Chris Hansen is a fantastic name.
Chris Hansen and
what he's gonna do is they're just gonna pull up to the line and they're gonna say, bitch, take a seat.
We're here at Autolink, home of the legendary Dr. Charles Madrid.
The way I got my nickname, Dr. Charles, well, I can fix cars, I can bring things back to life, just basically like a doctor would, but just don't have that much schooling and that much money he went through, so I just basically got the nickname Dr. Charles. I guess we're gonna see what kind of car we get today.
Your appearances are very early 2000s. I don't know about I don't know how to describe your goatee, my dude, but man's spiky hairdo next to you is real. Real.
So I don't know if it's gonna be like piece of shit or immaculate. So today?
To Monday.
To Monday. To Monday.
To Monday morning.
To get done.
I'm glad they censored it for me.
The first time we saw Obi's car, that 90 Eagle Talon he drives, I was just like, oh my God, it's the car I hate. I just so despise of them from racing. It's a kind of a rivalry. I'm a Honda fanatic. I like Hondas.
Oh, I remember that. He's the big Honda guy, and he has to get basically a Mitsubishi product to beat the cars he actually wants to work on.
Being that it is the American version of the Mitsubishi Eclipse, it has a Mitsubishi motor in it.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, Tiger. I fucking hate these things. I hate Mitsubishis with a passion, dude.
No.
Damn. He prefers Hondas to Mitsubishis. Well, because it's also, this is before the Evo was in the American market. So the Evo wasn't around dominating shit, I don't think.
It's an all-wheel drive car. We really don't have enough time to build the motor, so nitrous will assist everything. I mean, if we can go to the extreme, that's why we want to put nitrous oxide on it.
Well, depending on how much nitrous you can use, you'll have to build the motor anyways. I'm missing the point here.
That's why we want to put nitrous oxide on it, upgrade the turbocharger, just to push it to its maximum potential. That's all we want. If it blows it on the track, we just want the win, so we want to do whatever it takes.
Okay, so nicer turbo, I guess like a 25-50 shot of nitrous, and hopefully that's good enough. Not a terrible idea. Probably isn't too expensive.
All-wheel drive cars are known for their traction. However, making the engine more powerful puts additional stress on the drivetrain, especially the transfer case and axles. If any of those break, it will be impossible for the car to accelerate.
We don't know where.
Indeed. I would think that any component of the drivetrain breaking would make accelerating pretty difficult. I would also say blowing your tires would be pretty bad too. I didn't expect there to be like a stock image explanation of how all this works. That was funny.
This is going to be my first time playing with nitrous. If anything's making me a little sketchy, it's probably the nitrous. I'd really like to keep this car running. It is my daily driven vehicle.
Obi said,
Okay. Well, the nitrous shouldn't be a problem because you shouldn't be using it to your day-to-day activities. Just don't use too much. Don't blow your fucking engine. Also, just don't run more boost than your engine is capable of handling, I guess. I'm sure this guy knows what he's doing, but these conversations are really strange. I think the producers are telling them to say this.
I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to it. Definitely want to get my hands dirty.
I do really like her car. I know it's probably not special. It doesn't look like an SI, but I do really like her car as a platform to just tear apart and fiddle with. Like, if I wanted to get some wrench time and build a car on my own and learn how to do that, it'd probably be a Honda, because they seem really, really simple, relatively speaking, to everything else.
I am a tuner. A tuner is a person that can calculate every single thing that needs to go into your car correctly and program the car. A tuner is not just somebody that bolts a muffler on. To me, that's just a regular mechanic.
Yeah, I'll stand by you on that.
Found out we had a girl driver. We were like, oh, what are we gonna do? It's a girl.
Jensen.
Layla.
Nice to meet you.
Gary.
Hey, nice
How's it going?
Why, are you frightened of girls? What the f***? There's an R34 sitting right there. Whose R34 is that? I can guarantee, I think this might be an R33 right here. That is an R33, I'm really excited. This is an R34 GTR in like 2003. This is a Motor X car. Which Motor X car is this? Let's check the list. I gotta do some fucking sleuthing. Whose car is this? I don't think it's this car. It's not the Apex demo car. Here's a white car. Could be this one. Paul Walker's personally owned V-Spec 2. Is it that car? Is that Paul Walker's car? I know for a fact that's a Motor X car. I just don't know which one it is. It's white. It would have been more stock when it first arrived. When was it imported? How wild. I was not... What the heck?
It's feeling pretty good. You know, I know my stuff. It's not just like I'm just this chick that I can just stand there and hee. You know, I also am pretty knowledgeable about the cars.
Just checking out what she had on the car. It was set up all wrong. It was just...
Huh. What do you mean?
I mean, I really like staying with single cam.
I'd say scrap that single cam. Single overhead is the biggest piece of motor there is. I really just wanted to pull that whole thing out.
Single cam. Okay. I remember this discussion slightly.
Gary has a plan. If he swaps the single cam engine for a dual overhead one, the car will have the potential for twice the horsepower.
VTEC.
The speed.
To not want to swap to a dual overhead is just like, are you smoking crack or what, you know?
When they told me
everyone's kind of mean and crazy in this. Like, our marriage is on the line, and fucking this woman is nuts, and I'm a street racer, and oh.
It felt like your kid is ugly, you know? The dual overhead cam engines are definitely a better platform. If something's gonna help me to get there quicker and a little less expensive, then I'm open to it. And I want to work.
Are you? It didn't sound like you were. That's an Evo right there. Was I wrong about my statement with Evos not being in the country? How do you not like Evos? Evos are fucking fast and furious.
And I want to work with you guys.
Okay, there's a vacuum over there.
Sexism. That's not so cool. What? Why do we get a DJ shot there? Yay, strippers. What? That's a Honda Prelude?
We're all like, hey, everyone drives slow.
Yeah, right. I see everybody pass
The Civic came up, and I was like, okay.
Well, I was just trying to catch up. That's what I'm trying to do.
When we're out there at the street races, it really is.
That's what a lot of old meets were like. Just people going, man, did you see me go like this? And you were going like that. Meh, like kids talking about a video game, recounting what just happened.
It's gotten a lot of popularity because of the movies that have come out and kind of glamorized, Hollywoodized the whole street racing scene, and then it's okay, and then it's cool, and that nothing's gonna happen to you. You know, I mean, people bring guns, and I mean, it's like a gang type of a thing. I don't like it the way that it's become now. You know, I think that it's just blown out of proportion.
So, is she saying she used to be? It's Chris Hansen. It's Chris Hansen, but the fucking paralysis demon version. She's saying she used to be a street racer, but doesn't like how it is now? Interesting.
When you're street racing, the biggest danger is when people cut in front of you. And a lot of the idiots, they don't know what's going on. You know, they're out at the street races just to be there. And all of a sudden, you see a car trying to, like, bust a U-turn in the middle of the lane. And that's real bad. That's the way a lot of people have died, and that's the way a lot of the accidents happen.
It's a big risk.
What? So like a civilian or a racer is trying to bust a U-turn? I'm confused. Why would a racer do that? What kind of moron? Is it just a random civvy car?
Say a front-wheel drive car breaks the axle, it's gonna veer to that side. It's gonna bang you and all of your friends, whoever's standing around you or whoever.
It's gonna bang you and all of your friends, man.
Worst part if you get pulled over by a cop is, 1, you could go to jail, 2, you could lose your car, or 3, you get fix-it tickets that you just don't really want. Hopefully the cop's not smart.
Fix-it tickets are pretty bad. Pretty annoying.
Sometimes we'll get these guys out here, and they'll pretty much just block off a track or help a cop, you know, try to stop us or something. So we get big trucks like this that'll block off a whole exit for us to get out of, and that kind of traps us in an area, and we can't get out.
I'm not sure that's legal. You're not allowed to. It's technically on private property if you're on a gas station, but you can't stop people from leaving a premises. I don't think you're allowed to do that. Not without saying, I'm performing a citizen's arrest, which is the dumbest fucking concept ever, but whatever. I've deputized myself.
All it took was one time for me to get caught. And from there, just, you realize your consequence of, you know, I'm busted, I'm screwed for life. So it was a scary situation.
Well, you don't need the street race. Just build a car that you like and then drive it on the road and just kind of, you know, have a little fun when no one's looking, then chill the fuck out. Like a normal human being.
Professional sanctioned events, import sanctioned events, is actually built by street racers.
That makes sense. Well, the problem is once you start becoming professional, then people start saying you need to have cages a certain level, you need to have certain safety equipment, and all this kind of stuff. And it's all very reasonable that you're expected to have this so that no one gets hurt. Then as a result, you get bogged down when something goes wrong, if something's on the track, or this, that, and the other. And the problem is that it makes it less convenient, and the convenience is what makes it more attractive. This, you know, think of it like this. The inverse is Amazon is definitely not a good company, and it's not run by very good people. You have an Amazon Prime subscription? Sure, I'm not going to fault you for that, but it is what it is, you know? You're just not going to jail for it.
Hardcore street racers from back in the day.
Huh? What? What happened? Ford Discovery. Is that just the first part over?
We try to go to the tracks as much as possible.
Okay. Well, we'll stop there. And if you guys want to see more of this, let me know. reacting to this doc. It's a 50-minute fucking video, so you know what? I get it. I've been watching it for 42 minutes, and I've only gotten into the 14:24 mark. So thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you want to see more of this, I'll do it. This on top of the Fast and Furious stuff. Right now, we're in the React channel climate, and this seems to be, it's cheap, it's easy to do, so and it's kind of fun, and it's kind of neat having a dialogue with you guys about whatever I'm looking at. So yeah, if you like what you've seen so far on this channel and you're not subscribed yet, that sounds like a you problem, so fix that, because you'll love what I got planned. Take it easy, everyone. I love you, stay legendary, and bye-bye.